Guys, thanks so much for coming to Almost
Thank
Sound.
you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you, Jenny, Kani.
Yeah, likewise.
Big fan of your music and the art that you make. For people who don't know Zombies in Miami and who don't know you personally, how would you define what you do in life?
Well, we are from Mexico. We are an electronic project, and we don't define our music like as a specific genre. It's like a mix of a lot of things we like house, techno, Italo.
Yeah, it's like a big combination of everything. We like rhythms from there and everywhere, and we like music in general. So when we have some ideas in our mind, we can do everything. So yeah.
For example, like what music do you listen to when you're not producing? If you want inspiration, do you have a specific genre that you draw inspiration from, or you go anything you like?
It's like anything. I think it depends of the mood that we are. If we are driving, if we are at the house, like listening. But we mostly listen like every kind of music.
Yeah, when I have time for me, also I like to listen like reggae music and like rock from the 80s, like super old bands. Mano Negra for me, Fabulosos Cadillac. So I have like a lot of influence from the Latino side as we are from there, and yeah,
So mix of
it's like a big mix of
big mix.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, also cumbia.
Wow. And for example, like when I looked up on Discogs, your first release as Zombies in Miami was 2011, Cyborg EP. When you look back at that release and you think about your music today, how much has changed for you in terms of like the way you see music, the way you produce?
I'm super proud about all this journey, producing together and with the project. I think the evolution of the music it's heavy. We started as a game couple, trying to make music. Also, not thinking to travel around the world. It was just for fun. So we were into the Miami-based music, Italo disco, and I don't know. Uh, it's hard. It's hard to say.
Yeah, you started as a game for fun. You started making music together, inspired by what you were drawn to, and then eventually this evolved into a career as musicians and performers. And were the moments where you were like, what the fuck, this is happening, this is crazy? Like, do you remember any specific gigs that made you feel like, wow, I would never have thought this would happen?
Yeah, for example, when we had like one of the first project was called Waya Waya, and we were booked to a kind of festival or a party where Burakasom Sistema was playing, and we were huge fans of them. So, and I was like, oh, I couldn't imagine like being on the same stage as like in with one of the others that I admired so much, and it was a huge party with a lot of audience, and I was so nervous. And I think that was one of the peak times that I was surprised about what was happening.
Yeah, there was a guy, an important guy in the Mexico scene and industry. So the guy invited us to do a remix for him. The release was part of a very famous label from Diplo. So it's like a big old history. Yeah, so everything started as a game. Then yeah,
And
we're still here
yeah,
having a good time.
that's the most important thing. If you're having a good time,
Yeah.
home run, you won already. It's super cool. And for example, when was your first gig outside of Mexico?
First gig outside of Mexico, it was in Barcelona. Everything came because when we started the Zombies in Miami, we were uh, talking a lot. We had a really good relationship with the people from Comeme, Matias Aguayo, Rebolledo at that time, Philip Gorbachev, then Daniel Maloso also. Then talking with them, they trust a lot in our music. We played like many times in Mexico in 2011 and the beginning of 2012, and they trusted a lot in our music. They invited to play for the first time in Europe for a festival called CO Pop in Cologne. This was for a hippie dance party with Pachanga Boys, with Super Pichel and Rebolledo. So they pushed a lot to try to make happen this first European tour in 2012. So we got this gig in Off Sonar weekend. So our first show, it was in Discos Paradiso, the record store in Barcelona. And the same night we played in another off party with DJ Rocca from Italy. So it was like a Italo disco party with a very nice crew from Barcelona. That was the first time, and after that we did a super cool small tour in Europe at that year.
Very cool. So that was 2012 already? Yeah.
12.
Okay, okay. And after that, you basically been traveling to Europe, Mexico, I mean America as well. Like every year you travel to Europe normally.
Yeah, since 2012, we have been traveling for the summer, like 3 months. Just in the pandemic, we stopped a little bit, but yeah, and also we started to travel in winter, also to Europe. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also funny to think in 2012 when we came for the first time. Also, we were invited to play in Stockholm for a gig with our old project called Waya Waya. So when we were playing, we were like, this is not going well for me as a performer.
Yeah, we were.
And she was like, oh my God, I have the same feelings. So at some point I told her, let's change the music now from Waya Waya to Zombies in Miami in this gig. But it wasn't playing the live at that time. Like, hey, I will play this track called Apache from Zombies in Miami, and let's see how it's going. So when we put the track, like all the people were like, ah!
Wow.
So it was like a very nice reaction. And then after the show, we decided to stop the other project. So it was the first shows of Waya Waya in Europe and the last. And that was
So interesting.
The beginning of
the end of Waya
Oh,
Waya and the beginning of a proper career of Zombies in Miami.
can you say a bit more about what was the difference in terms of music and what made you both feel like, okay, this is not right for me?
The music was so different. It was like a mix of tropical, electro, baile funk. It was super fast. I think that was one of the main problems, that the people like didn't know how to react to that music or to dance.
Yeah.
It was very unique. So
Yeah, and after when we decided to stop, we got like many emails and message like, why you're stopping with the project? It was great. Are you now in a different thing? Yeah, because we like music in general. At one point we had 3 projects at the same time and working with all of them. But then we enjoyed a lot playing as a zombies in Miami, and yeah, so it was
And then eventually you
our
switched.
decision.
Did you ever think, oh fuck, we should have kept also the old project, or you were certain zombies in Miami, that's it for us?
Yeah,
Yeah, you were
Yeah, I
certain.
think that was the perfect time to end that project.
Very interesting. And I had a couple of questions about your releases. So you released on Permanent Vacation, Correspondent, Running Back as well, many labels. You have your own label as well. When you're producing music right now, I read in a previous interview, you don't create it for a label. Hence my question is like, how do you select a label after you have a project, let's say an album, an EP?
yeah,
It depends the situation. Sometimes we got asked by the label that to send them music, and we are thinking like music that we like or we already have, or to start a new project and send them to the label. But also,
yeah. When we have like enough music, sometimes we are thinking like, yeah, I really like this label since the beginning. When we started, for example, we really like Permanent Vacation, and we said at some point it could be awesome to put something on this label, right? So we never tried to send like a demo for them. At some point, we got a request from Benjamin Frolic, who is the boss with TB, and he asked us for a remix. So then we started a nice relationship, a proper work relationship, and at some point we said, "Hey Benji, we have an album, and would be great if you can listen and let's see." So he said, "Yeah, I really like the album, and let's put out." And yeah, of course, we can send also demos to labels, as happened with Correspondent in 2013. We had a lot of tracks, and we said we really like this label. Let's just send them music to the label, and let's try. And then we got an answer, and
And they
yeah,
signed
the
your
rest
music,
is
yeah.
story.
Yeah, very cool. So essentially now the focus for you, you make music, you have a project, it could be an EP, album, and then after that you're like, okay, I think it would fit on this label, and you send it to them, depending on whether you have a relationship. Or maybe they ask you. For example, you have more music. Do you have like, what is your process in terms of making music? For example, now that you are in Europe for 3 months, so you're gigging, you're touring a lot, how do you
Yeah.
make time for music? Do you work on the go when you
Yeah,
travel as
a
well?
lot.
Yeah.
We are like a kind of mess, always producing music. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's part of the process, and I think it's important. It's important if we are still doing music like this. We are still doing music on the trains, on the planes, on the hotel, at the room, at the everywhere. We are still recording some ideas in our phones, like doing bass lines with the mobile, like or
Vocals.
vocals, or writing some letters, or like lyrics, sorry. And yeah, I think it's still authentic for us, and it's better to be from zero in a studio, like with all the machines.
Yeah, because we don't. If we're in the studio and we are forced like to do the music instantly, it was like we're not in the mood sometimes, or
Also, we're at home, and after all this time traveling, sometimes we need to be only at home with our cat, with our family, doing our stuff. So the studio works good for us to finalize the ideas, but most of the ideas and all the tracks
everywhere.
are from everywhere.
Laptop and your cell phone.
We like to work with the laptop and controller MIDI sometimes to record something in our place here in Berlin. We have all our instruments. We can took one synthesizer or one drum machine, put on the audio card and record something. Then, yeah, we like that.
And in terms of like, for example, when you look at the broader music scene today in Mexico and Europe, what is one thing that out of the current scene in Mexico that is really good for you? Like, is there anything that inspires you about the music scene in Mexico that is new?
I think it's very natural there. There are a lot of newcomers, and the parties are very like raw. I don't know. The crowd is very enthusiastic about when in every party. I mean, so yeah, it's very inspired. I think it's growing a lot. The scene there.
Also, the country is huge, and you can find different kind of scenes and also crowds. People from the north are great. They're supporting all the time on the dance floor, like screaming. Yeah. So people from the center, it's different, but all the country is great. So, and talking about producers and DJs, you can find a very nice gems from there. So yeah, I think it's a very nice moment for Mexican scenes, and also Latin America scene is doing great now, and now we can see like many people from all Latin America playing in Europe. All the summer is full of people from there, and we are super happy and excited to see this, and also the people from Europe is enjoying a lot all the music from there.
Yes, and somehow the way I'm seeing as well, like the evolution, for example, Italo disco broadly, there's a lot of like very good producers from Mexico for some reasons. Do you think there is a reason why this developed specifically in Mexico?
This is funny, but in Mexico we have a place called Patrick Miller. Patrick Miller is a super old club from Mexico City, and we can say it like the church of Italo disco and high energy in the world. Yes,
Okay.
we're not kidding, but it's so authentic, so beautiful. You can see people from 50 years old, 60 years old, like our parents, our uncles, aunts, dancing there. It's very natural. It's very authentic, and yeah. So that's why maybe a lot of people from there it's
It's a very
super
familiar sound
into
for
this
Mexico.
kind of sound. Yeah, yeah. Like our parents, they listen back in the days like Sandra or Mr. Flagio on the radio. So we'll we are very close to that music too. Even when we are not from there, or the music is not from. Yeah,
It sounds like, especially now, maybe this has developed into like a new group of people from Mexico, young producers or producers who are more established, who are making this music. And I think compared to the one that has been made in Berlin or Toulouse and France at the moment, I think the Mexican one is a bit more, I don't know how to define it, but more like new wave almost, a bit melancholic, very melodic, but less melodic than what you see in France, for example, with Kendall and these other producers.
it's also a little bit savage and
Yeah.
Raw.
crazy raw in Mexico. Yeah, I want to talk about this because when we started in 2011 with this Cyborg EP, it was released with a crew called Electric Music. So at that time, all these guys from Electric, Mijo, La Royale at that time, Eddie Mercury, Max Jones, Andre, Buffy. We started like as a family, a new kind of thing. And now we can see this influence in the new generations
Yeah.
in the country.
Crazy.
The vocals are coming again. The raw stuff is coming again. So yeah,
Yeah, super interesting.
we like to see this again. People is still into it.
And it's evolving as well because, I mean, of course, new producers come in, they use things differently.
It's always fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, I mean, for me, super inspiring. It's not a genre or like a style that I know for a long time. I mean, I'm Italian, but you know, doesn't mean anything. But I think I got close to the genre because of going to Panorama Bar less than a year ago, and I was like, wow, I love this music. It's so joyful, and like there's a lot of like emotion that comes. And I was in Mexico in February, and I started like, I came across Rigo Polar and your music as well, of course, and some other producers. I was like, wow, this is crazy, it's so good, so
Yeah.
interesting.
Also talking about this, we started a good relationship with Italy at that time in 2011, 2012. Especially with people like Rodion, Fabrizio Mamarella, Francis Scala. We were like super fans also from Slow Motion and the people from Pescara, the Tipografia Club. So we listen also their music, the Italian music, and they discover also the Mexican stuff, and for them was like, oh my god, this is great. So at some point we met, and it was super interesting because at some point we started to make music with them, with Rodion, with Fabrizio. We started to make parties together also at that times. Francis Cali invited us to play here at the Slow Motion Party, the Gronk Era, in 2012. So it was our first approach and gig in Berlin. Also, Matthias Munk Modica, he invited us to play the next day. So we have a really cool relationship with them.
It's so good to know.
Yeah.
And supporting each other, influencing each other, inspiring each other.
And
So
it's
interesting.
part of the story, the history of music electronic scene. Yeah.
It's very beautiful to you know, to know more about this, and like how you've been supporting different scenes from different places that are like geographically distant. But I think also with internet, it's much easier to connect with people,
easier.
share
Totally.
stuff, collaborate.
Yeah, SoundCloud at that time, it was
Yeah,
very important to make connections and
yeah.
everything.
SoundCloud. I was thinking about something else, like for producers who are from Mexico, what are the challenges that they're facing when they're starting to make music and it's harder for them to get recognition, to get found by other people?
Yeah, I think in Mexico it's super hard to get noticed by the people. They love like foreign DJs, but they don't notice a lot of the Mexican producers and Mexican DJs. So it's very difficult, I think, to get noticed. Yeah,
To send out.
yeah, stand out.
In your view, if you have a view, like what could a young producer do about this to get noticed, to make sure that like they have the confidence to say, hey, my music is good as much as anyone else?
I think it's to find your own style, to sound different, unique. Yeah, because the problem in Mexico is that a lot of people are doing that music like Italo, dark disco, indie. They're stuck in that genre. So I think it's important to open up, I think, to the scene, to stand up.
To make something that is unique too.
Different, yeah.
Yeah. Very important.
But it's about time also.
Yeah.
People is
takes
always it takes time, and people is
desperate.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
How long have you, both either of you, like been producing for? I mean, more than 2011, I guess. But
Together, yeah. Doing music since
2009.
2009.
2009 together. And before that, were you making music?
2008, sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I started when we started as a couple producing, but he started a long time ago.
Like 2003, like 20 years ago.
Yeah. So it does take time to do something. You say, okay, I wanna
Yeah.
release it.
I started making like noise and IDM and breaks and just playing with my machines and my all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially, I think to find your voice, like your unique way to make music, I think it takes a lot of time because normally, like every artist, you draw, you try to copy whatever you like, and then you develop. Okay, I like this. That doesn't make sense, but for me, it makes sense, and then something great happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another like big part of the discovery. And is there anything that you think for young producers, Mexican or non Mexican, one can do to, make sure that they are more confident themselves?
I don't know, yeah, to open up their minds, I think, to the music, to experiment, to like do mistakes and try it out, and I don't know.
It's a bit like what you, and yeah, also like what you were saying before about lives. Sometimes you make a live set, you test something, and it works out beautifully for the moment. I think, it's a beautiful thing to try out. If you feel something, you just like try it and then see. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one question about, for example, your career now. How do you see this going? Do you make plans or you just go with the flow?
Yeah, basically we just go with the flow.
Yeah. We're Mexicans. No, just kidding. We plan a little bit, but not like
Of course,
super far away.
planning the like the next shows, like the next tours, like the next releases. Now we are more focused with our label. We want to work more to find like new producers or yeah, we're getting like a lot of demos, but we want to put more music there, and yeah, we are also planning to release like the first vinyl on the label. So at some point it should be out soon, and
The next album.
yeah,
Your next album
we need to
together,
start to work on the next album. So yeah, there are always some ideas on the cloud, and yeah.
So your label, for people who don't know, is Creatures of the Night. That's your own label, yeah. And live set wise, I know that this year especially you started doing more live sets. You played in Ibiza recently. I think it was like a couple of months ago for the first time. Did you play live in Ibiza or it was DJ set? Okay. And with the live set specifically, are you planning to do more live shows?
Actually, this year we are playing more DJ sets than lives. Since the beginning of Zombies, we played live, only lives. So since 2011, it's only live till 2019. Then we started to play DJ sets together at the end of 2009, but still 2020, a lot of lives. 2021 and 22, more lives than DJ sets, but this year is more DJ sets than lives. Okay. So we are trying also to play live acts in like more festivals and more specific shows than we find appropriate to play the live act. Now could be more intense at some point, the live, and we want to put it now on the special places. after playing live act for more than 10 years, yeah, we want to have a gap. And also we enjoy a lot to play DJ sets.
And DJ set, like sometimes you bring your microphones, or yeah, that's also in
Yeah.
DJ set you can bring. Yeah.
We want also to play. We want to play like the hybrid versions with the CDJs, vocals on top, sometimes synthesizer and drum machine on top. Yeah, I'm playing a lot of zombies tracks too.
Yeah, and then also the traveling is much easier when you don't have to carry.
Yeah.
We're so happy.
Sometimes we are traveling and we're like, oh my god, I feel weird.
Missing something.
Yeah, I have only one bag with headphones and two t-shirts, one pants, and that's it. It's like, where is my gear? I don't know.
Life can be also
Sometimes
easy.
I'm afraid, like,
Also in the security at the airports, it's like, oh, it's just that.
One bag.
Easy.
but of course we are still loving to play live. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I mean you would also want to change. Like sometimes you play live, sometimes you play DJ sets.
Yeah, but it's part of us. We grow up playing live, and till the end of the days, I think
Yeah.
we'll be performers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super important. I wanted to ask a couple of more questions about the label and like other producers that you're seeing right now. Do you have any new producers that are producing similar music to what you play, what you like playing, that come to mind from Mexico, from anywhere?
I think Mystery Affair is getting like more known. I like her productions and the music, and yeah, I think it's a very good performer also, and very energetic in her DJ sets. So yeah, I think she's one of the most interesting.
Yeah, also with her we have a project. Now we'll release something together on our label. It will call Zombie Affair.
Zombie Fair?
Zombie Affair. So I like the combination of the two projects. And we have an EP coming soon on the label with the Prince Thomas remix. And also we will play a live back together in a festival in Mexico, in Acapulco. So it will be like the first time together with the project.
Playing live, yeah, performing.
Playing live. And of course, there are more people, interesting people from Mexico. There is a guy called Joseph, who is part of the Bar America's residents. And also there is another nice guy called Máquina from the Guanajuato side. Yeah.
And he's also releasing in our label.
In our label, yeah.
How did you discover them? Like, they're sending you music, or you come through suggestions?
When we play like in Mexico, we met a lot of people, like the openers, and we were sometimes very surprised, like, oh wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And they send us music, and we got the relationship. So it's very easy to get music there in Mexico. A lot of people like send us, or when we are playing, we like to arrive at least like 1 hour before our set to listen and to get like the mood of the party. And sometimes we get so really nice music.
Very cool.
In the gigs.
And then you stay in touch, and then if you like each other's music.
Yeah, now we're like friends.
Very cool.
Yeah, people in Mexico is always warm, and then they can be friends.
Yeah, it's like Italians. Same thing.
Yeah, of course.
2 minutes, oh, friends.
Yeah. But now, yeah, also people from here, from Europe, are now in touch with us. we have also a friend from Dresden called Pau Pau. Yeah, she started to make music, and at some point she's doing something for the label. So she's also playing in our parties in Mexico on the label parties, and yeah, so it's people from here and there.
Yes, right, yeah,
Yeah, when the music is cool, we'll
exactly.
put the music out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And shifting away from your music and production, when you don't do music, what do you do in your life? How do you like spending time?
Mostly at home with our cat. It's one since it's one of the things that we miss a lot. I love to be at home with my cat and watching series and movies.
Yeah, also like playing records and trying some different recipes at the
Cook a lot.
at
You cook a lot, yeah.
home. Yeah, basically doing some sports. Yeah.
Normal stuff.
Yeah, normal stuff.
When you're not
Normal
touring.
people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I remember like I was in Mexico this year for the first time, and I love Mexican food in Mexico. It's just like amazing.
Yeah.
After like Italian, of course, I like Italian food, but also Mexican food is great.
Yeah.
Also mesmerized. I had like
Yeah.
a lot of tacos every day, of course. Very cool. And a couple of final questions. If you were not musicians, what would you do in life as a job?
Probably something related to cook or a restaurant or something like that.
Yeah, likewise. I really want to have a place at some point. I'm not sure if as a chef or yeah, working on on the
Recipes.
on the food things. But yeah, also maybe as a booking agent. Yeah.
For other musicians.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Why not?
It's one of my dreams. So
Very
at
cool.
some point
Or maybe both.
I will do it.
Very cool. And then you now you start to have like a group of people, a group of musicians. So maybe at some point, why not? You have a restaurant, you feed them, and then you support them. Super cool.
Yeah.
What are you excited about in the couple of months, in the coming months?
Well, I'm excited to go back to Mexico and see how it's going. Yeah, also to prepare the album, we need to work a lot at that.
Yeah, like also good releases. On our label, we'll release uh, some tracks in Fabric Records. Also, there is another one in Anjuna Deep with a very transy track in a compilation, and yeah, it's playing in the country in Mexico. And September is always nice, so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to back home and play.
Yeah, of course.
And
Escaping
chill
the
with
winter.
friends.
Yeah, living the winter in Europe.
Yes.
From Berlin, yeah, I know. There is also like a tradition of Homo Sound. We always ask every guest to ask a question for the next guest, and they don't know who is going to be the next guest. So you can ask two different questions that we should ask our next guest.
Oh, okay.
Could be anything.
What has been one of the hardest challenges in your career?
I can let you think, and obviously I have questions for you as well from the previous guests.
Okay.
Okay, one is, what are your pronouns? Like as he, she, they.
She.
He.
And there is another question, because you're two, which is, in spite of what you do. So what are, similar to your question, like what are the biggest challenges that you have to overcome to be able to be a musician?
Like a lot of important things, like weddings, like I don't know, So to be a part of your family and friends.
Life.
Yeah.
And you feel like because of touring, you sometimes cannot be there.
Yeah.
Especially because it's weekend work, right? Yeah, tough.
Yes.
Can it for you?
Yeah, I think the same. It's super hard to be out of home with these kind of situations. As we're always together, it's like always, it's always hard
Yeah.
to be out also to leave our cat, our home alone, and yeah, the family sometimes when they are not in a good moment and we are out, it's super hard.
Super hard, yeah. Touring is very hard. Takes a toll.
Yeah, but we're lucky to have a family, a very supporter family, and sometimes they're like, "Don't worry, we'll manage. We are fine, and do your stuff."
Very
Yeah,
important, yeah.
yeah,
Are your families both in Mexico?
Yeah, in the
yeah,
same city.
in
No,
the same
Aguascalientes.
city.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah. Weddings, good occasions, also like tough ones. You, if you're gonna be there because you're in Europe touring, it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Guys, Jenny, Kani, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Very nice to
Thank
meet
you so
you.
much.
Thank you
for
for being here.
invitation. We enjoyed a lot.
Likewise, and looking forward to seeing the new projects and to see you more in Europe or in Mexico playing more.